So I'm actually going over what women want. This could be quite straightforward to cover, right, in about 5 seconds. I'm going to say men and women, although when I get into it, I'll explain there's a little bit more to it than that in T-minus one moment. Tell you what, now sun's come out. I'm really warm, even though the heating's on. I think I've gone out in the sun. I've got warm. So this is actually, although I'm going to talk about it in a particular perspective, you can use this way of thinking for actual relationships as well. I'm just going to use it in terms of what I've experienced with clients. And I'll try to be as clear as I can on this. So bear with and ask any questions if you're confused and or, it's a spectator sport. Oh, Jesus. Joanne. Sweeney, I need to have a chat with your mum. You watched Bridget Jones for the first time last week. I don't know how... Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. I need to get a library together for you. And we need to have this as a chat. They're a little bit predictable, Karen. I could not predict that Joe was about to say that to me. I actually feel pain right behind my eyeballs, Joe. I think I just lost some brain cells. And my eyeballs felt them die. Wow. So you obviously know how to need to watch the second one. Did you watch All by Myself? First scene. That's brilliant. I love that scene of all time. Whenever I go through a breakup in my head, I remember that scene. I think, I am not Bridget Jones. I will have a bottle of wine. I'm not Bridget Jones. Right. Let's get this on the road then. Oh, pain still. Ow, Joe, I need to push my eyeballs back into my head. Isn't that painful? So what Coach Helen for You Fit Studio talking about what women and men want. Now, I did say it's a bit of a slant on this. Me, Karen, you can't see my pants, but I'll get off track there. But Bridget Jones pants, I am. This is me. This is Kate. This is me. Yeah, Kate, that's me. I wear the Bridget Jones pants. It's very comforting and keeps a lot in. So part of this was Mr. Tony. I'm going to give credit where it's due because I saw this through Tony Robbins. Although it did make me think about existing clients and something that, from a coaching perspective, it's good for a coach to be aware of and a client to be aware of, and also to understand how we approach things differently from a male and female perspective. Stating the obvious there. And what I said just before we started is that it's this isn't just about relationships as such. It's also about how we approach weight loss. If we're approaching it from a masculine or feminine point of view. Now notice how I changed the language, because all of us, whether we're aware of it or not, have either a masculine or feminine, I just say, approach to things, shall we say. Now, to get into more detail, it may be that in some elements of our lives we have a more feminine approach to something, say in weight loss or relationships, whereas in business or work we may have a more masculine approach. So actually you may be in different, you're not necessarily, again stay with me, you're not necessarily strictly one person or one kind of approach in terms of energy force, I'm going to call it, in one scenario and another, and it's not also predicted by your physical gender. So you may be, you might have had this discussion with friends before, if you talked about relationships, you may be like, when it says, who's a man and who wears the trousers? Me, right? Or vice versa. So it's not that necessarily gender is a prediction, by the way, if I say what men or women or masculine or feminine energy, if you want to call it, I'm going to call it energy, because I can't think of a different word that doesn't sound weird. So you may have a masculine or feminine energy towards different scenarios. And I see this very clearly when working with clients. And look, I'm giving away more coaching secrets. Tips and tricks inside. Now these things are universal, I would say. Again, I always say that humans are creatures of habit and pattern. We like to do something that we're comfortable with, and we do it repeatedly. And some of these behaviours are patented. In fact, they're very patented, I'm going to be honest, hence the observations. As I said, you don't always approach the same things in the same role. So let's take first, because I am, a feminine approach to particular situations. Now, there's some rules that Mr. Robbins talks about when it comes to women and what they want as 3 areas. And this is the same when it comes to someone who's approaching weight loss from a feminine-minded point of view. Now, to clarify again, a feminine-minded point of view doesn't mean that you are a woman. You may be a male and come to this approach, right? And vice versa. So there's always something that comes clear when someone is of this energy. And that's, firstly, you want to be listened to. So you always want to be listened to, right? So as Tony puts it, you want to be understood. Now, if I'm working with clients, I can see that quite commonly and understand what he's saying, because clients coming from that energy or point of view and looking at weight loss want to be understood in terms of what they're looking for. So they want their coach, or they want the journey to be something where they are participating in to some degree, as in it's a two-way street. They're listened to because they are understood. So being understood in terms of what you're looking for, the experience, results to some degree, that when you're in conversation and you're on your journey, both you and your coach understand what your outlook is, where you want to end up, what your current goals are, how you feel, but definitely how a client feels, right? So if you're in that, hey Hina, if you're in that energy or feminine energy when it comes to weight loss, you want to be understood, right? You want to your coach to understand that this is where you want to get to, how you want to feel, and very strongly on the feel as well, to be fair. They want to be part of the conversation. Bear with, my battery's going to die on my phone. They want to feel part of the conversation so that they feel that they've had some input into battery power. Here we go. Apologies for that. You've been on the phone that long today. That's what happens. Your battery dies. So if you're a feminine in approach to weight loss, you want to be understood. So you want your coach to give you chance to input into the process, to understand what you're looking for and why, and to ensure that if that changes at any point, there's been an understanding between the two of you as to why it's had to change or for what reason, right? And by the way, there's no right and wrong in this. This is just observations, right? And then let's just go there, because I said it is appropriate. If you're in a relationship, for example, the same premise, a woman wants to be understood. So her partner understands what they're looking for in the relationship, understands what they're looking for, just generally listens, right? That's quite a feminine approach to relationships, as it is with weight loss. And being listened to, I suppose, is actually the second one as well. Whereas being understood is being listened to. So if you have been in a relationship before, and you might know this, if you're saying the same thing over and over again and your partner is not understanding you because they are not listening, and again, it's understanding that your partner has received the words in which you're saying. That's a very feminine approach. So let's take an example where a client may say a particular goal, and maybe it's not understood because there's been no listening skills from either party. Or maybe the coach is speaking to the client saying, right, X, Y, Z, and there's no listening going on, vice versa, right? So it's being understood and listened to are primarily the two very important, from a feminine point of view, for any relationship, whether it's approaching weight loss or personal, two primary ones, right? Because Tony calls them to be understood and to be seen, right? So part of being listened to is to be seen, because the biggest fear for someone with a feminine energy towards anything in life is to be unseen. So it's not to be understood and to be unseen. So to be seen is to be recognised, to be listened to be acknowledged as well. So the same thing, if you're approaching weight loss, it's always important to know these energies so you can better understand your own reactions sometimes to when you're being coached, right? And when perhaps there may be some tweaking in coaching and understanding why something isn't perhaps sitting just as you would like. The third one, right? Because Tony says like this, go recap, right? So the worst thing is to be not understood, to be unseen, and to be unsafe. Now, someone with a feminine approach to energy, in certain situations, they like to be safe in the process. So they like to understand that it's working. They like reassurance that the actions they're taking are keeping them safe towards their journey. So they like that safety net. Now that safety net can be multiple things. It might be that actually you need to have the check-ins, as in the weight check-ins. You need to have reassurance, right, that what you're doing is great. You need to have recognition of progress if it's not a number, that you're having that you're craving it, and actually craving it isn't a good or bad thing. It just shows where your energy is at, and what you're looking for in terms of relationship, either in terms of losing weight or with a significant other, right? So they're the big ones: to be listened to be understood, and to have safety in the knowledge that what you're doing is working, right? However that is, however you want to get the safety or acknowledgement. Those things are real clear sign that somebody has a feminine mindset approach to things. So what you say then is the masculine version, right? So what is the masculine approach to things? And again, right, I'm going to say it of plenty of gender female clients who have a masculine energy, and therefore have a slightly different approach to things in terms of what they're looking for, how they like to be communicated with. And likewise, you may have, like I've just explained, you go, oh, that sounds like me when I'm thinking about my weight loss, that sounds like me. And then what I might explain now might be how you are in your personal relationships with friends or at work, etc. Again, you're not necessarily one energy in different areas. Masculine energies, just, they do not like criticism. Do not like criticism, or feel or think they're being criticized. They tend to rebel quite a fair bit. Like if you think stuff, yeah, that's me. So sometimes it's quite difficult. Like if you sometimes have a strong reaction to maybe some feedback from a coach that probably isn't necessarily unfair. However, you receive it as criticism, you are more likely to rebel. So you're more likely to go, I'm out, drop mic, drop dumbbell, done. Or in terms of the relationship as well, right? You might actually just have a moment you go, do you know what? Not for me. I am done. Thank you very much. Good night. Sayonara. That doesn't mean as I said, it's not a good bad thing. It's just how your energy flows, right? So it's something to be aware of, that sometimes you might find yourself being criticised by a significant other and think, you know what, and that's a sign that actually you have that within you. It's all right. It's not good or bad. It's just a thing. Generally, right, they love it to be open and direct, right? They love direct action, like direct communication to the point, right? Don't need to feel like I'm massively having an understand. I just like to be directed. So just direct me and I will do it. Likewise, that might be the same as, right, if I'm working with a client, I just want them to I just want to know how I lose weight. Right, do this. Okay, it's done. Direct. Masculine energy, like the directness of it all, and don't like the criticism. Hi, Ben. And also the thing about masculine, the third thing about masculine energy is they love the freedom, right? So they love the freedom and flexibility to have free reign, right? So these clients, this might be you as well, generally don't do a food diary restrictively, will be in control of their own training diary, don't need to be checked in on constantly, because they might sense that is a bit of criticism. So they're like a kind of like a flexibility and a freedom of their own journey. They like to get the sense of being able to do what they want to do, right? The same again, let's just direct it to relationships, the same kind of thing. Some of the masculine energy may not like to have the criticism, will like to be spoken to directly, and also just wants a bit of flexibility with how they do things. So again, masculine and feminine energy in different areas signifies what actually you're looking for. Now, it's important, why I covered this is not just for relationships, there is there, but it's also in terms of when you're losing weight. It's some people will say to me, and quite often this came out again, like the last couple of ones, this came out of conversation with a client. She's like, is this normal? How I think, is this normal? Because my friends don't think like this. Or when I was talking to somebody at the boot camp and she's saying that she doesn't think like me, and then I was thinking, am I unusual? I'm like, no, you're not unusual at all. actually we all come to different things, like I said, from a masculine or feminine energy, dependent on the situation. And it's not based on gender. It is how some people react to the weight loss journey. It's not something we openly talk about. And that's what this forum is for, because I could talk to her and say, well, no, actually, how you are right now is she's a very masculine energy, right? She's like, just tell me how it is. This woman on the park, she's like, well, she started talking about stuff, and I was like, I just want Helen to go, boom, I'm done. Like, yeah, it's okay. You have that approach to things because that's what you appreciate. You like to have your own free will with what you want to do with your food during the week. I ain't touching that. That's down on you. You know I'm going to feed back to you and tell you to sort it out if it's out of place. You like me to be direct. And you know if I'm going to give you some feedback, I've got to pre-frame it and not let you know that it's anything personal, right? This is you, right? This is your approach to weight loss. You have a masculine-minded mind towards it. And again, it's not to say you're not emotionally invested. You are. Your approach to it is from a very masculine energy. It's great to recognise that all these things are common, right? Like I said at the beginning, these are common behaviours. We are uniform people when it comes to behaviours, right? We're creatures of habit, like I said. So to be one energy or another is completely standard. And to recognise that also helps you in the process as well, because it helps you realise that anything you're thinking or feeling or how you want to be approached or approach others, if it's different to the person next to you, is okay. That is just how you approach things. And also, it's great to understand, like if I'm saying this and you recognise other people in your lives, when I say it's what women and men want, it might be your significant other. You say things like, God, yeah, when I criticise her, she flies off the handle. Oh, maybe what she needs is for me to think of other ways to give her feedback. Or, God, you know, when Sam says this to me, it makes me think or feel this. This is because this is where you're working with different energies, right? So the thing is to match your energy to that person. So understanding where your energy at helps you not only recognise your own, but recognise others, and then adapt therein like a chameleon, because that's the best way to be, right? Just to adapt, right? So then you understand that you might be feeling like you're behaving differently, but they are too, right? It's okay. We'll still forgive Joe Sweeney for only just watching Bridget Jones' Diary, because all of that in there is nothing to do with female or male energy. By the way, Joe, it's just all madness. I will still give you a list. Can't wait for one-to-one this week. I think I just might make you book in time for 90 minutes and we watch a film together. Notting Hill. Please tell me you've watched Notting Hill, for the love of God. 4 Weddings and a Funeral? Give me an update, please. Have a think about that while I recap, Joe. So I talked about how there's 3 elements of each of us have either a male or a masculine or a feminine energy. And it's not just in weight loss. We do this in all things in life. We approach it with one energy or another, and it's not based on our gender. It's just how we are as people, how we naturally approach it where we're more comfortable. As I said, we don't stay the same. It could be whatever energy at any time, and sometimes even over a period of time, you even switch that approach, right? Based on some things I just said, like maybe you've realised that actually there's something we need to change it. So a feminine-minded approach will be somebody who, as I said, wants to be understood and listened to. So listened to and recognised, wants to be seen in their journey, wants some recognition, wants to feel and sense that all part of their journey, that it's a two-way street. They're fully engaged in what's happening. Their emotions and their feelings are all listened to and identified and recognised as part of that. They also really like the safety element. So they like to know they're safe in the journey and that everything they're doing is actually reinforced by either the outcome or the reassurance that every decision they're making in their weight loss journey is appropriate and it's working. They love that reassurance, that safety net. On the flip side, if you're going this with a masculine energy, same as with a relationship or weight loss, I'm going to make it clear. You know, the listeners going, oh my God, I need to talk to my other half tonight. Hate criticism or rebel against it. Dislike it intently. It's always taken as a personal affront. Love an open and direct conversation. Just get to the point, just say what needs to be done and get it done. Big action people don't dawdle around a little bit, they just get it done. That's a very masculine approach to things, and definitely want the flexibility and freedom of their own journey to control it. They want to know that actually, if anything, that it's not, rather than a joint venture, we should say, that they're actually really strongly driving the direction. and people are there to support, not to do it for them. So they're very, very strong characteristics. As I said, there's no right and wrong way. It's great to recognise your own energy when you approach things. So you know that your behaviours are actually completely okay. I told that client, she's like, there's something wrong with me? I'm like, no, my friend, you are entirely as you're meant to be. And also helps you recognise that energy in others. Again, regardless of gender, you may find that you are more of the masculine energy within a relationship as to your male partner. It's just natural, it's okay. In different situations that will blend and change. And it's the same with weight loss. It's good to know which you are, so you understand your responses to things or how you work best with your coach. There's always the way to know, right? Because if you want to mind, if you like Kate, Joe, you can always tell me, because I know which ones you are for sure, right? So that's the thing. It's good to know. It's good to know because then it helps you work better with your coach and understand why you prefer some ways of being dealt with or spoken to. And likewise, feedback's always good. If you want to be spoken to differently or maybe approached with a different energy, love a bit of feedback, me. I don't mind being criticised. Criticise me all day. I quite welcome it. I'm like this. Me and Sam the same. Bring me the criticism. Definitely not masculine minded in that sense. I'm like that. Yeah, I love directness. I do like to be understood and I do like to be seen, but give me the criticism all day. I've learnt to suck that one up. You just gotta take it. So that's me done. Tomorrow, change your state. This is a good one. I probably need more space to change my state tomorrow. That'll be an interesting one. So join me at 5 tomorrow for that. In the meantime, enjoy the sunlight that has come out. Try not to burn your eyeballs out when you get out there, because like that, it's like me learning Joe's information about watching Bridget Jones. That'll be me going outside going, the pain of sunlight. So enjoy, and I will catch you tomorrow.